We have been worrying about it for years, decades even, and here it is. It's at our doorstep, and everybody's yawning. Well, not everybody in the listening audience, I doubt that, but for the most part, society is yawning, and I just cannot believe how they could be missing. That everything is going to work out all right, honey. Don't worry about it. It's going to work out. Those people will never do anything like that. Well, I'm sorry, folks. History shows that those people will do exactly what we're talking about, given the opportunity, and they are creating that opportunity right now.
Well, they say they're going to wall off all the major NAFTA highways and keep half the. I mean, you've put together the maps off their own documents, where half the country's off limits to us, and everywhere they get control, they are rewilding. They are all over the West harassing people off their own property. I mean, this is going on.
It is. It really is. We haven't heard a lot about it in the major urban areas because they have deliberately basically compartmentalized everything in this country so that we do not hear what's going on in another part of the country. I go and talk to different groups in different parts of the country, and they think that they're the only ones this is happening to. It's happening to everyone. And we need to, our property rights are being destroyed. You have the Kelo case back in 2005 that basically changed the Fifth Amendment from public use to public purpose. It guts the whole purpose of property rights protection of the government. I mean, you name it, it's been stepwise, one by one by one. Our protections are falling, and now they're cascading. I have never seen such a push so fast, so hard, as we've seen since Obama has become president. We all knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't realize it was going to be this bad. Well,
I've got it here in my folders. I'm digging around for it right now. I'll probably find it in the break, but hundreds of articles a week saying babies are bad. They have a big carbon footprint. Yeah. We need to ban having babies or put taxes on them. And Australia is actually trying to pass laws. They're getting rid of the baby credits in California. They're in women's magazines telling women marriage isn't good, breaking up with your family's good, don't have kids. I mean, this is a real culture of death, but humans have a hunger for life. I think they're going to have trouble implementing this. I mean, they're in power is what I'm saying. And it's one thing to pass the laws. It's another thing to be able to actually put this stuff into place.
Yeah, that is very true. And it's amazing. Last year, maybe 14, 15 months ago, 80% of the population here in the United States believed that global warming was generally caused by man. Not maybe they weren't a diehard believer, but 80%. That's down to 44% now. And people are beginning to wake up, and it's been programs like this and others that are starting to really sink home when they start to see Obama doing all these things, and they've heard our crazy comments and so forth over the last few years. All of a sudden, they start to see it happen, and they say, "Oh my gosh, maybe they're right." You look at the health care. 60% of the American people, 2/3, do not want to have the present health care in the House of Representatives passed.
And that's when they don't even know how bad it really is. Dr. Michael Coffman, stay there. Let's talk more about this good news, though. The people are waking up. That's why the establishment's kind of flipping out now in an orgy of propaganda in an attempt to batter us into control. Folks, I want you to go to infowars.com. The online video bookstore, and I want you to get my film, Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, to understand who the eugenicists are, who the globalists are, what their master plan is. And the new documentary by Dr. Michael Coffman. And he's got a great host as well hosting the film. This will deprogram your neighbors, your friends, and family. This is a life and death situation. See, the socialists, the communists, the fascists, the command and controllers, the collectivists, they always need a new fraud, a new scam. And it's always how they're saving the world. And that's what they're doing. But when you get to the bottom line, this is the news from the last week of eugenics. Chinese babies sold for adoption. If you have more than one child and can't pay the fine, the Chinese government comes and takes your child and sells it to the United States. That's BBC. BBC. Now, this is what Obama's chief of science has said. He said, have CPS take everybody's kids, basically. Everybody gets a government visit to see if you can keep your kids. Chinese baby girls sold for adoption. Having large families is an eco-crime. Times of London. Children bad for planet. News of Australia. Judge arranges sterilization as part of Charleston woman's probation. 2 children should be limited, says Green Guru. Study finds high fructose corn syrup contains mercury. They do that on purpose. Washington Post. Infertility linked to common household chemicals. Rockefeller Foundation proof where they admit they fund all the eugenics. Thought I'd show you that. Baby tax needed to save planet, claims experts. Ladies and gentlemen, I have 7 stacks here. I'll never even get through half of one of these. Oz TV advises CO2 emitting children die early. This is also the ABC News article where they told kids killing themselves is good. And then shows pools of blood saying animals die if you don't die. This is sick, sick, sick. Remember Al Gore a few months ago telling kids their parents are stupid, don't believe them, global warming's real? Here's Pelosi. Every aspect of our lives must be subject to an inventory under green taxes. Texas unknowingly donate children's blood to research. Austin American Statesman. That's for the eugenics genome. Kidnappers swoop on China's girls. Obama's first act. Taxpayer money to fund abortions of black babies. If you don't like killing blacks, you don't like blacks. The globalists are... Here's one where the globalists are happy there's more abortions now that the economy's imploding. Here's where they knowingly put HIV in the blood. I'm sorry, Dr. Coffman, I'm ranting here. I mean, here's Justice Ginsburg says she originally thought Roe v. Wade was designed to limit populations that we didn't want to have too many of. Oh, how liberal to kill the blacks. I mean, why is Margaret Sanger worshipped if she said blacks were subhuman? Dr. Coffman?
It's a very good question. Why does the public seem to put on pedestals those scientists who are lying through their teeth, those nutcases like Singer who have made all these proclamations in the past? I'm not talking about Fred Singer, the climate scientist. I'm talking about what's her first name?
Margaret Sanger, yeah.
Margaret Sanger, yes, who has made all these predictions and has done everything she can to bring to fruition eugenics and all the rest of these. It's just like there is, and I think this is really true, there is a great delusion. You know, the Bible talks about the great delusion. This isn't it. But we're seeing evidence that the whole world can be deluded to a major extent by what we're seeing right now. I mean, I have never witnessed anything like it in my lifetime.
Well, we have offshore banks that have stolen $14.8 trillion, according to Bloomberg, who engineered the crisis. Now they want another banker bailout that gives them power over the whole economy.
Right.
I mean,
absolutely.
But the public's concerned about Michael Jackson being dead. Dr. Coffman, 1 minute break. I know you've got to leave, but I want to do 5 more minutes with you to cover a few final topics and talk about the video on the other side. Then we've got a guest coming on the show just for a segment or two. The police say he's not allowed to have an American flag upside down. They think it's unpatriotic because they're as dumb as a 2x4. It's our final segment with Dr. Michael Coffman. The entire planet's being issued through international treaty. It's ID cards under biometrics. That'll be the new world currency. It will just be a cashless system. Here's the Times of London. India issues all 1.2 billion citizens with biometric ID cards. And they say, hey, we've got lots of health care, lots of government help. Just buy and sell with this card. And then now they can micromanage society. Now the social planners can control things. That's what the environmental movement admits they're about, cutting off resources to force the destruction of growth, then to implode society to make you become domesticated. Dr. Michael Coffman, I wanted to continue to talk about the film Global Warming, Emerging Science and Understanding here in this final segment. We're carrying this and your other documentary, Global Warming or Global Governance. Everyone needs to see this. Just because our listeners may know all about this, their friends, their family, other school teachers, people don't know. And so we need to reach out and educate the public. Even if they pass these global carbon taxes, we've got to fight it and expose it so we can repeal it. Dr. Coffman.
Absolutely, there is no question about that. And one of the reasons we did this second DVD was to bring brand new information into the debate, as well as format it in a way that you can give to your friends and neighbors in a very easy-to-understand format. You can give it to your school science teachers. It's designed for school classroom showing. to combat Al Gore's inconvenient truth. It's designed to share with other people. You can make copies of it to share, not to sell it, but to make copies to give to your friends and neighbors and to your school teachers and so forth, to try to spread this word, because once they see this, and it's extremely well done, folks, this is order of magnitude better than my first documentary, and it is very conclusive. I have gotten nothing but rave reviews from a variety of sources, including kids down to about 10 years old. So it is really a dynamic video that just takes the starch right out of the need for even having cap and trade legislation.